Let's take a look at Recap, an excellent app to use for hosting online discussions safely. Once you log into Recap with your Google account, the first thing you want to do is create a queue, which is kind of like a class discussion board where you post questions. Give your queue a name, a subject, or a grade if you'd like to, and then decide how your kids can access it, either via email or through a join pin, similar to a Kahoot or Google Classroom. Your join pin should be shown to you right off the hop. This is something you can post in your classroom. Your kids can visit the link, enter the join pin, and then they're a part of your Recap queue, and they can answer the questions that you type in. To add a question, just click where it tells you to, and then click the red button that says Send to Queue, and that lets you add questions to a stream that your students can see. So we're going to post that join pin really quick and show you what it looks like for a student to actually fill this in. So they go to the Recap URL, and they punch in the join code. They add themselves as a person. And then now Frankie is in there, and he can see my queue that I've shared with him. Here we go, 2 questions. And I can click on one question as Frankie, and then I can type in my response to that particular question as a comment. And once the kid is finished with the comment that they've made, they click on the little paper plane icon to send it off. And that can be seen by anyone in the class, as it's a public comment. That can be seen by the teacher as well on the back end, as it's a public comment. Students can also contribute to the conversation by asking questions of their own. Clicking on the green Ask Question button lets you punch in a question that you can either ask of the teacher, making it a private question, or a public one that the class is able to respond to. Talking about public and private, what if I wanted this to be more of a private experience? Well, you can do that. When you add a new queue, simply choose the email and password sign-in option, and then you can import your class from Google Classroom. You can import students very easily. Click on the blue Allow button after clicking Import from Google Classroom, and then from the list, choose the class that you actually want to invite. I'm going to choose my test environment and click the Import button. That finds all the kids in that class. I click the Add button, and this invites them as participants to that queue only. So let's look and see what the responses from students look like on the teacher side of things. Here you can see Frankie's comment, and at the very top you can see his question that he asked as well. Now, text comments are just the beginning. You can actually use video and audio responses from students as well. In your queue, click on the green Video Responses button and then type in as many questions as you'd like to ask in this particular stream. Set the options that you'd like and set a due date if you'd like as well, and click Send to put it in your queue so that students can answer those video questions. Now let's see what it looks like for a student to answer a video question. They do the same thing they did before. They join with the join code. They add themselves as a person in this particular class, and they click on the question one more time. And this time there's a little red button at the top that says Respond. So what they want to do is click on the red Respond button, and that's going to bring them to the spot where they can actually record some video. They'll have to allow access to the camera and storage on this particular device, and that's fine. But when they're ready to start recording, they click the red Respond button in the bottom right hand corner. They should see a preview of themselves up on the screen and a little record button. If they're shy, they can record just audio by clicking on the microphone icon in the right corner. Within your queues, you don't have to be stuck with just one question type. You can have video questions and text response questions all together in one queue, which is kind of a nice feature. And you can always add more questions to any queue at any given time just by opening that queue and clicking to type and then adding your new questions in. Another cool feature of Recap is its integration with Google Classroom. So if you click on the Prompt in Google Classroom button, you're going to be able to share out your queue as an assignment or an announcement or a question inside of Google Classroom very easily. Just choose the class you want to share it with, modify the details as you see fit, and click the blue Assign button. That's going to save some clicks for your kids and make it easier for them to find the work that you want them to do. And finally, let's talk about a journey in Recap. A journey is kind of like a web quest in that it starts with a central topic or a question, and it takes your students on a pathway to better understanding of that topic that you're talking about by sharing links and video and audio content. Now, you can record an introductory video for your journey, which I think is pretty fun, from right within this journey setup screen, and then you can add your different resources as steps on the journey's path. So step 1 for me is going to be sharing a link to a particular document with a really quick description in the overview box, and then I'll click the Save button to move on to my next step. I'll add my second step as just a point to ponder, a possible discussion question, and just add that there. And then after that, I'm going to add one more online resource, a video from YouTube for them to watch, and I'll paste the link to that as well with a small overview or question for my students to ponder and respond to. The student experience with a journey is more about consuming content and learning a bit than it is interacting with it. Your you're using a journey as a way to introduce a topic and build background knowledge on it so students can better discuss it. To finish up your journey, you must give a preview image, almost like a cover page for your journey, which you can just use any JPEG or PNG file. And lastly, for your journeys, you have to designate a category and a grade level that they are appropriate for before you can actually add it to your queue so your students can find it and enjoy it. Once all that is set, just click on the green Add button, and your journey now shows up in your queue with your video questions and your text questions ready for your students to dive in and discuss.